Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will start again a lecture on that is the cost estimations. So already in last lectures we have discussed the various concepts regarding cost estimation, that is estimating and costing. Already we have seen detailed estimate, preliminary estimates, and also we have seen the various concepts regarding the estimating and costing, the various methods of preliminary estimate, the various methods of detailed estimate we have discussed about. And today we will have again some more lectures or some more concepts related with this. We will have some numericals related with the rate analysis. Already we have discussed with the rate analysis also. In last lectures we have seen the rate analysis concepts also, the factors affecting rate analysis, what are the different types, how to find out the rate analysis on the basis of labors or materials required. And actually in today's lecture we will have the concept of rate analysis, actually how to find out the cost of any item of works. If we are having earthwork in excavations, or we are having RCC in case of foundations, or we are having RCC in case of plain beam or in slabs. So how to find out the actually how to calculate the quantities, and how to represent or how to find out the cost related with the particular item of works. How much cost will be required in for earthwork in excavations in meter cube, what will be the cost for the PCC in meter cube, or what will be the cost of earthwork in excavation in meter cube. So in today's lectures we will solve, or we will have some more concepts on rate analysis, which is very important as per the requirements of the today's scenario. So it is very important in order to calculate the various items of works. So we will see one by one the numericals related on the rate analysis. So we will do in short faster way. We will discuss about the rate analysis for some few concepts, or in short way we will have the concept of rate analysis. Okay. So analysis of rate or rate analysis is nothing but it is nothing but to determine the rate of a particular item of works from quantities of materials and labors required and their cost. So it is in short, in rate analysis we are finding out the quantities of materials, and it is to be materials as well as labors required, and it is to be multiplied with the cost, present cost. Okay. So there is depending upon the present cost, we have to multiply the materials and the labors along with the cost in order to find out the complete item of works. Okay. Again, what is next? The rates of materials and labors are changing from place to place. Therefore, the rates of different items. Therefore, the rates of different items will be different. Different items of works also changes from place to place. So, depending upon the availabilities, if some materials are available more, that means the cost of that material will be less. If the availability is if the availability of the particular material is less, that means the cost of that particular material will be more, and it depends upon the place also. Okay. Whether it is available on nearby, or it is available on far away from the our city. At that time we require some transportation or extra cost will be required. It depends upon place to place. Okay. Whether it is available nearby or whether it is available far away from the cities, so that transportation cost will be required, additional cost will be taken care for transportations, and depending upon that we have to find out the rates of the particular item of works. So analysis of rates, every estimate should be accompanied by the analysis of rates of the items provided in it. Analysis of rates comprises of, as I have already said, it includes cost of materials. Also, it includes cost of labors. Various. Suppose we are taking an example of RCC. So cement, sand, and aggregates are required. So what is the cost of a cement per bag, or aggregates per meter cube, or fine aggregates per meter cube? And so what is the cost of the materials? Okay. Also the cost of skilled laborers, unskilled laborers, first class. There are two categories already we have seen. First, there is the skilled laborers and unskilled laborers, or semi-skilled laborers. Okay. So depending upon the skills available with the laborers, there will be the cost of the laborers. Cost of laborers will be depending upon its skills. Okay. So cost of laborers, again, it is an important term related with the rate analysis. Also, third important is nothing but tools and plants required. In nowadays, tools and plants plays an important role. Tools and plants and sundries. Sundries is nothing but, again, it is very essential. Tools and plants nowadays plays an important because depending upon the various equipments or tools and plants, we have the construction work. It is to be carried out in a easier way. Okay? So again, the cost required for tools and plants is again plays an important role. Okay? So tools and plants and machineries are also carriage with. If it has been transported with the help of the various vehicles we require for its transportations, so carriage way again plays an important role while calculating the cost of an item of works. Okay? Again, last point is nothing but the contractor's profit, because from the overall cost we are keeping 10% as a contractor's profit. So this contractor's profit plays an important role while calculating the item of works. Okay? So we are having all these things to be considered. This slide is again important because in this slide we have discussed about the various concepts which has been required while calculating the cost of any structures. Okay? So material cost is important, labor cost is important, tools and plants required is important, carriage, if it has been transported from one place to another place, its transportation cost is again important. Also, the contractor's profit plays an important role. How much profit, engineer's profit or contractor's profit, it is usually 8 to 10%. Okay? So it is usually taken as 8 to 10%. So this contractor's profit is also plays an important role. Again, how much cost will be taken care by the tools and plants. So how much cost from the total amount, how much it will be taken. So near about 2.5 to 3% of the labor cost, it has been taken by the tools and plants, because we are reducing the efforts of the labors. Okay? We are substituting the efforts of labors with the help of tools and plants, therefore it has been taken from the labors cost. Okay? So it has not been taken from the total cost, it has been taken from the labor's cost, that is 2.5 to 3% of the labor's cost. Okay? Again, transportation cost more than 8 kilometers is considered. Therefore, if the transportation of the materials it is beyond 8 kilometers, that means we have to have extra amount for we require extra amount for transportation. Okay? So again, beyond 8 kilometers, we have to add that extra amount which has been required for the transportation. Within 8 kilometers, it has not been considered, but it is above 8 kilometers. We have to consider the transportation cost for return basis. Okay? The transportation cost more than 8 kilometers is also important. Okay? Tools and plants is also important. Transportation more than 8 kilometers is also important. Again, water charges in some sites there is scarcity of water, because without water the construction work it is not carried out. It is very essential. Therefore, in some cases, in that cases, we have to keep some amount for the water charges. Okay? We have to keep aside some amount from the total cost as a water charges, because water plays an important role, because for RCC works, for any type of construction work, without water, water required for mixing, water required for curing also, for various purposes we require water. So therefore, from total amount it has been kept as 1.5 to 2%. Okay? Water charges we are keeping as aside for taking from the overall cost, it has been taken as 1.5 to 2%. What about the contractor's profit? Again, engineer's profit or contractor's profit, it is taken as 8 to 10%. So in some cases we are taking directly as 10%. Okay? The range for this contractor's profit is nothing but 8 to 10%. So we can take 8% also or 10% also, but in most of the numericals it has been taken as the directly as 10%. So these are the percentage which is taken into consideration while calculating the items of works. Okay? While calculating the different items of works, these heads are taken into considerations. Tools and plants to be taken into consideration. If there is any transportation beyond 8 kilometers, it is to be taken into considerations. Also, water charges and contractors profit with their percentages are taken into considerations. Also, this contractor's profit will be from the overall cost. Okay? It is to be taken care from the overall cost. And what about the these are the analysis of rates by the various surveys which has been carried out. There may be changes 50 rupees or 100 rupees. There may be plus minus 50 to 100 rupees changes may be there. So rates of the materials and labors, the first class bricks, it has been taken for per thousand. That is, it is taken as 6,500. In some cases, it has also 7.2, 7.1 also. But I have taken as this 6,500. That means per brick the rate we have taken as 6.5. Okay? So we can take 6 to 7 as the rate of the per brick. So we have taken as I've assumed this as by considerations we have taken this as 6.5, that is per brick. And what about per thousand? It has been considered as 6,500. For second class brickworks, we have taken as second class. It is a little having less strength, therefore it has been considered as 6,000, that is 6 rupees per brick. Okay, we are considering this as 6 rupees per brick. Brick ballast is nothing but the waste of bricks which has been also used for the brick bag coba, or we can use for the PCC works in some cases, for flooring. In case of parkings, we can use this brick ballast. So it is nothing but the waste which has been taken, which has been available, or which can be used for the PCC works. Okay, plain cement concrete works. It cannot be added in slabs. Okay, only for plain, in order to have plain surface, we can use this brick ballast. So per meters it is available. So yeah, we have taken as 900. We can take this as 1,000 also, or 950 also, but I have assumed this as 900 per cubic meters. All these rates, by little survey, you can easily find out the rates of the different items of works. Okay, different materials. So brick ballast we have taken as 900 per cubic meters, whereas coarse aggregate we have taken as 1,000. Okay, so in this case we have taken as 1,000 per cubic meters coarse aggregate rates. There may be plus minus changes also in some cases, depending upon the availability, whether it is available from nearby or it has been transported, or depending upon the qualities, there may be changes also, 1,100 also, or it may be 900 also. Okay, so we have assumed as in intermediate as 1,000 per cubic meters. Whereas cement, in 750 kgs bag, that is we have assumed as, again there are different qualities of cements are there depending upon the different grades, but in this case we have assumed as the cost of per bag as 350 per bag. So this it is having, again, availability of the cement with various companies or various brands are available, and again the rates may differ. Okay, there may be plus minus 10-20 rupees. So we have taken here as 350 per bag. Again, twisted bars, we have assumed as 6,000 per quintal. Again, there may be some changes. Though we have assumed as 6,000 per quintal. Whereas bituminous, in some cases for waterproofing purpose, this bitumen plays an important role. So bitumen is used for the waterproofing purpose. So it has been taken as 30 per kgs. So we have listed this various rates of the materials required for various construction works. Okay. Again, what are the different labels rates? Again, these labels, there may be a little bit changes also. 25 to 50 rupees change also may be there, or 100 rupees, maximum 100 rupees change may be there. If these labels are available from, it is if it is skilled labors are there, or how from where we are hiring the laborers or masons or different laborers, the cost may be differ 50 to 25 rupees. So here I have taken the cost of mason as 550 per day. The cost of a mason we have taken as 550 per day, whereas for plasterings we have taken as 500 per day. Carpenter we have taken as again 500 per day. VC, it has been taken as, VC is nothing but the lower category of Mazdoor, little bit it is higher category. Beyond this, VC is just as good as helper. Okay, so it is helper, or it is used. It is also called as waterman, which has been required on sites for curing purpose. So VC we can have as 300 per day. Okay, so we can take this as 250 or 300. So I have taken as 300 per day. And in some cases, it has been assumed as 250 also. But in this case, I have taken as VC as 300 per day. Okay. The Mazdoor, again, it is having 325 to 350. So I have taken as 350 per day. Whereas spindles, again, it is in the range of carpenter or masons. So in some cases, it is 425 or 450 also. So we have taken as 400 per day. So these rates, we have to decide the rates. First, we have decided the rates of the materials required. Then we have decided the rates of the labors required. Depending upon the materials rates and depending upon the labors rate, we have to find out the cost. Okay, so we will find out the cost of any structures, okay, or any item of work. So we have seen the labor rates, we have seen the material rates. The next is nothing but we will find out the earthwork in excavation, the quantities. Here, as per in different textbooks or in different after calculations, they had decided that earthwork in excavations, if it is in percentage cubic meters, so how many laborers are required or how many mazdoors are required. That is earthwork in excavations. Okay. So it requires near about 33 mazdoors are required, and whereas 1.5, it is just the divisions. Okay. it is not as how this 1.5 how we will take. Okay, they have calculated for quantities, but for percentage quantities this it has been come in case of fractions. Okay, so these fractions then will be multiplied with the amounts and rates in order to calculate the cost of any structures. Okay, so it doesn't mean that how this 1.5 will come. Okay, it is just the fractions, but it will be multiplied with the total the amount or the total size of the earthwork in excavations. In that way we will find out the quantity of masons. Okay, again, earthwork in filling safe is in case of earthwork in excavations, more numbers of laborers are required. Mazdoors are required, whereas in filling, because filling part is a little bit easier as compared to the excavations. So here we have taken as mazdoor as 18, mason as point 0.5. Okay. Cement concrete in foundations again we have taken as mazdoor as 15, mason as 1.5, and bistri as that is helper or the waterman as 2. Okay, cement concrete in foundations. These are the after research work it has been done. After all the research work, it has been decided that how much quantity of labors will be required. Okay? So depending upon the actual quantity, we will see. We will calculate the actual quantity. But in this case, this how many mazdoors are required? So 15 numbers of mazdoors are required. Masons 1.5 is required, and bistri that means 2 is required. Okay. Again, cement concrete normal way it has been taken as mazdoor as 15, mason as again 1, bcn 2.5. Okay, reinforce r stands for reinforce cement concrete for 10 cubic meters. All these are 10 cubic meters. Okay, mazdoor required is 40, mason required is 2.5, bc in this case for 10 meter cube it has been taken as 5. Blacksmith will also be required because we are having reinforcements. Okay, the reinforcements, the bar bending, blacksmith will be required. By bar binder will be required. So how much quantity of bar binders or blacksmith will be required for bending purpose, for steel reinforcements and all the related part related with steel. So blacksmith we are having 4 numbers. Okay, so here carpenters also required is again for shuttering purpose, for centering and shuttering purpose. Again, it requires 4. Okay, so carpenter in this case requires 4. Again, for DPC work, that is the dam proof course, we require 10 for 10 cubic meters. Again, for dam proof course, which is always we are laying this DPC. What is the purpose of DPC? Already we have discussed, or what is the main purpose for DPC? Where it is laid below the plinth. Okay, below the plinth. मतलब, after laying the plinth beams, it has been laid DPC. It has been laid in order to avoid the water dampness, in order to avoid the dampness, or in order to enter the unwanted material, that is the dampness or water which has been it is uh, in order to avoid this we can use this DPC, that is the dam proof course. Again, how much labors will be required? Here mazdoor will be required, in this case is 2.5. Mason required for 10 cubic meters. Laying of DPC is nothing but dam proof course is 1.5. BST is again 0.5, that is helper. First class brickworks, we require mazdoor as 15, mason as 8, and BST as 2. Plastering works, these quantities it is to be kept in mind for calculations. Okay, so these are made for 100 square meters. Matlab these calculations are made for 100 square meters, or in last slide we have seen 10 cubic meters, or this is also for 10 cubic meters. So these calculations has been made for 10 cubic meters, therefore it has been calculated as in fractions. The calculations it comes to be in fractions. Okay, it is calculated in 10 cubic meters, but actually depending upon the site conditions, or depending upon our quantities which we have calculated, we have to convert this depending upon the fractions, or depending upon this we have to convert this. But here all these mazdoor, mason or bisti, all it has been calculated depending upon this 10 cubic meters. Therefore, it has been calculated in the fractions. The amount it has been taken care in fractions. Okay, the mason 1.5 and bisti 0.5. What about the plastering works? The 100 square meters. Here, mazdoor required is 10. Mason required is again 10 for the plastering works. Again, hundreds for the area of the 100 square meters. For laying of down of plastering for the 100 square meters, how many mazdoors will be required? 10. Masons will be required again 10, because 1:1 ratio is maintained in between mazdoor and mason. So for 10 square meters, 1 is to 1 ratio is there. That is 10 laborers are required, and 10 masons are mason and laborers are required. What about the helpers in this case required is two numbers. Okay. Distempering or painting or whitewashing. If 100 square meters area we are having plastering works, the painting work it is to be carried out for 100 square meters. So how many mazurs are required? That is 5, and painter here required is 4. So here, here we are having a simple example in which first we will find out the quantities. Next, in further slides, we will see. We will have in further slides we will multiply with the cost also. Okay, but in this case we will find out only the materials required. Okay, to find out the dry materials required for 1 cubic meters cement. That is nothing but cement concrete. 1 is to 4 is to 8 in foundations. So here we are finding out the quantity of 1 cubic meters quantity. What is the ratio here given as 1 is to 4 is to? What this 148 represents? That is nothing but the cement, sand and aggregate. Cement, sand and aggregates. Okay. So we have to find out the quantity of cement, we have to find out the quantity of sand, and we have to find out the quantity of aggregates in this case. Okay. So here the example is for 1 cubic meters. To find out the dry material required for 1 cubic meters, cement, concrete, 1 is to 4 is to 8 in foundations. Okay. So here the ratio is 148. Here stands 1 stands for the cement, sand and aggregates. The total sum it comes to be 13. The total sum for 148 it comes to be 13. Okay. Total dry mortar for 1 cubic meter cement mortars. So here dry after all percentages it has been calculated as 1.54 cubic meters. Okay. So here we have to consider the percentage also. So here after divisions, here you have to divide this 1 upon that is how much quantity of cement will be required. So after calculating it and converting it into a ratio, the ratio comes to be 1.54. So we have to add that is near about 40% extra. So after all for 40% extra, the amount of this dry mortar it comes to be 1.54 cubic meters. The total dry mortar for 1 cubic meters cement concrete it comes to be 1.54 cubic meters after adding the extra percentage, that is 40% extra for dry mortars. Okay. Again, by these ratios, how much quantity of this 1.54 total quantity is nothing but 1.5. How much is the ratio for cement? So cement here it has been taken as 1, and total it comes to be 1.54. The volume it has been calculated as 1.54, and 28.8 divided by 13. This 13 is the total percentage. Here we have taken as total sum as 13. So it is divided by 13. So how many bags of cement it has been calculated? So here it has been calculated as 3.41 bags. What about sand? How much percentage of sand is there? Again, what is this fractions for 28.8? This it has been converted into bags. Okay. Here we are calculating in cubic meters. So how many bags in one per cubic meters? So in per cubic meters it is 28.8. So here we have multiplied with 28.8 in order to convert this into bags. Okay. So it comes to be 3.41 bags. Okay. What about the sand? Sand it is not available in bags, therefore this quantity it has not been considered here. Only how many parts of sand we are considering in this case. So the ratio is 148. That means 4 part is for sand. So 4 multiplied by 1.54, and the total parts is nothing but 13. 13 is divided by 13. So how many meter cube of sand required for this case is 0.47 cubic meters. And what about the aggregates? So here aggregates is nothing but brick ballast aggregates is required. How much ratio part is there? 8 part of this is it has been considered. Okay, 8 part it has been considered, and it is 1.54. So, okay. So it comes to be 0.94 cubic meters. Okay. So materials for 1 cubic meter cement sand 1 is to 4 is to 8. How many cement bags we require? So 3.41 bags required. How many quantity of sand is required in this case? So 0.47 that is cubic meters of sand is required. For 0.47 cubic meters of sand is required. What about the brick ballast? The brick ballast in this case we require 0.94. Okay. So 0.94 is the brick ballast. In this case we require for the cement concrete, for laying cement concrete 1 cubic meters. So we have calculated all these in 1 cubic meters. 1 cubic meter. Okay. In some cases we have to find out in 10 cubic meters or 20 cubic meters. So depending upon the quantities it will be increased. Here we are finding out for per cubic meters. Again, find out the dry materials for 1 cubic meter of lime concrete. So here lime concrete, again the ratio it has been given as 1:2. Okay, the ratio for lime concrete is 1:2. Lime concrete 1:2. So yeah, find out the dry materials for 1 cubic meter lime concrete. So here ratio is 1:2. That means 1:2. One stands for lime and two stands for the surgi. That is lime concrete. So here in olden days, this concept or this lime concrete were used in case of PCC walls, in case of flooring walls. So lime concrete we are used. Okay, this ratio where this lime concrete were used, but nowadays this it has been rarely used. In olden days, this was lime concrete. It has been used for flooring purpose or for PCC work, PCCs also. Okay. So how much is the sum for this? In again, in this case is 1 plus 2. That comes to be 3. The total parts for this is it comes to be 3. Sorry. Again, what is next in this case? Total dry mortar for 1 cubic meters of lime concrete. So here total it comes to be zero point 0.4, that is lime surki mortars. The total dry mortars. Okay. Again, how much percentage extra will be taken care? After all percentage extra, the percentage or it has been calculated as dry volume. It has been taken as zero point 0.4. Little bit calculations are there. Here we have taken as directly. I have written here as zero point 0.4, but with calculations it can be find out how this zero point 0.4 calculations to be done. So therefore, total dry mortars for 1 cubic meters lime concrete it comes to be zero point 0.4. Again, therefore the following materials are required. That is lime. In this case, how many parts of lime is there? One multiplied by the total after fractions. It has been taken as zero point 0.4 divided by how many parts is there? So three parts is there. 1:2. That is total parts is 3. How many per meter cube lime it has been considered as 0.13 cubic meters. Again for Surki it has been taken as how many parts? Here it has been considered as 2 parts multiplied by, again it is taken as zero point 0.4, zero point 0.4 and it is divided by its parts. Okay, so its parts it comes to be, so it comes to be 0.27 cubic meters. Again, brick blast can also be used. Aggregates or brick blast. Here we have taken as 1 cubic meters. Okay, for a proper mix, we have taken as 1 cubic meters. So again, we can have the brick blast also. So it has been directly taken as 1 cubic meters. The brick blast in this case we have taken as 1 cubic meters. So how much materials required for this 3? The cement concrete. How much materials required in this? So for maintaining 1:2 ratios, so lime required in this case is 0.13 cubic meters, surki required is 0.27, and we are adding extra as the brick ballast. Okay, in order to have proper bindings between this, because surki it is a little bit in a powder state, lime is also in powder state. Therefore, in order to have sorry, in order to have properly binding between this, so little bit brick ballast we are using as 1 cubic meters. Again, analysis of rates. We have seen the materials required in case of cement concrete, in case of lime concrete. So depending upon again this, we will find out the cost also. Okay? We will consider the cost also. So analysis of rates of different items of works. So earthwork in excavations for foundations. So material sets at the site for percentage cubic meters. How much material at site? That means no materials are required. Therefore, if it is if labors are required, labors for the percentage cubic meters. How many labors will be required? So must do 33 numbers. So it is multiplied with the rate of one Mazdur, it comes to be 11550. Here we are finding out the earthwork in excavation for foundations. Okay, the earthwork in excavation for foundation. So here the material will not be required. Therefore, this material column it has been taken as nil. But labors will be required because in rate analysis we have to calculate material as well as labors. So here this material we are excavating, we are not constructing, or we are not laying down the foundations in concrete in foundations or pieces in foundation. Therefore material required is not available. Okay? We are excavating. How many labors are required for excavation purpose? So 33 numbers of labors are required. Okay. So after calculations, the percentage, the per cubic meters, it comes to be 10 cubic it comes to be 33 numbers. So what is the rate for this? Already in previous slides we have seen the rates. The rates here in this case is 350 per day. Okay. So the simple multiplication is there. So it comes to be 11550. So 11550 is nothing but the amount. Again, mason one numbers. How many masons will be required in order to have earthwork in excavations per cubic meter? So one mason will be required. So 550 is the cost of one mason. Okay. Again, sundries and tools and plants. That means extra amount will be required for tools and plants. So extra amount required for tools and plants we are considering is because the tools and plants, these are the substitute for the labors. Okay. So therefore we are taking from labors 3% on labors. So we have taken this on labors. So already we have listed the cost of labors in previous slide. What is the cost of labors? Mazdoors required to 11550 and this missions. So this total is nothing but, and it's 3%. So it comes to be 346.50. Okay, the cost for labors, it comes to be 346.50. So here we are adding the tools and plants and the labors or the mason required. The total amount for the labors required by considering the tools and plants, it comes to be total as 12446. The total amount, it comes to be this as 12446.50. After calculating from labors as well as mason as well as tools and plants, so all adding all the three quantities we are adding, and it comes to be 12446.50. What about the contractor's profit? Here we are considering as 10%. Okay. So here 10% of this is nothing but 12446.50 from the total amount we are considering as 10%. Already in previous slides we have seen this it has to be taken as from the overall cost. Okay. It has to be considered from overall cost. So we are considering this as 10% from the overall cost. Okay. Add 10% contractor's profit from overall cost. The overall cost is 12446 after considering labors as well as mason as well as tools and plant. So 10%, it comes to be 124.65. What is the grand total amount for the earthwork in excavations in percentage cubic meters? So it comes to be 1244.65. It has been added with 12446.50. So it comes to be grand total as 13691.15. So here we are in round off we have taken as 13692. Okay. So in cubic meters, the rate analysis for this in cubic meters is come to be 13692 earthwork in excavations. Next is the earth filling under flows. Okay. So filling materials, again this material at sites, no materials required. Again, labors required for filling is nothing but mazdoor required. How much mazdoors will be required for filling purpose? 18 numbers will be required. Okay. Earthwork in fillings, it requires 18. Okay, mazdoors. So these 18 mazdoors will be required. What is the cost for one mazdoor? That is, we have taken as 350 already in previous slides. I have shown the cost of various laborers or masons or carpenter or painter. So in that mazdoor we have taken as 350. So just we have multiplied this 18 by 350, 63. It has for this in flow. So 1.5 years it has been decreased. The cost for this we have taken as 250. In some cases been considered as 75, also 280 or 275 or 50. So we have considered as 250. Half of these numbers are required. The half numbers is about 125. The tools and plants. The here from the total amount, tools and plants require sundries and tools and plants. There is 3% on the labor cost. So it comes to be 3% of this. It comes to be 123.75. So we have added these quantities and it comes to be 6548.75. So 6548.75 the total cost. And what about the 10% contractors profit? So from this overall cost, we have considered we are keeping aside as 10% for contract profit as 658.87 out of 658.87. So we 54.7 and the grant for earthwork in fillings in case of flooring below flooring filling earthwork in filling in case of flooring the grand total it comes to be 7203.62. after calculations it comes to be 7204. Okay. Again, same thing we did in the example 148. See that just we are multiplying with the with the quantity of rates. Okay, we have calculated how much bricks are required, how much quantity of sand is required, or how much quantity of fine concrete is required. Just we have discussed. Okay, in fact, now we are multiplying the rates, current rates. The material at site for 1 cubic meters, cement required in this case 3 bags. It is just multiply with 350, it comes to be 1113 point. How much quantity of sand is required? 6 cubic meters. So the amount of sand in cubic meters is 1000, I guess. It could be plus minus also. 1000 we have taken in this case. So 0.47 multiplied by 1000 comes to be 470. So these are the materials required. These two are the materials required. Again, brick blast can also be required zero point 0.9. So it has been taken as 900. The cost of brick blast, just we have multiplied this. It comes to be 846. Okay, so it comes to be 846. The next is the labors required. Also, the amount of labors will be required for its work. So labors will also be calculated. The labors play again. Labors and materials both we will have. We will find out. So here is nothing but the labor also required. The labor for 1 cubic meter of mason is one required for in case of work RC. So here RC in RCC works we requires one mason. Okay, what is the cost for one mason in this case? 550. Okay, so just we have multiplied this 550 into one. It comes to be 550. What about the mazdoors required for RCC? That is cement concrete work 148 to 15 numbers. So multiplied by again 350. It comes to be 525250. How many BC required? So two numbers of BC is required. The amount is 300 per day. Okay, so BC requires is 2 at the rate of 300. So here it will be 6. Sorry, yeah, here it will be 6. What about Sundries? It is 3% of the labors, so it comes to be near about 183.00. Okay. So after all calculations, directly the cost for 10 cubic meters there may be plus 60 also. The 8795.50. So per cubic meters, if it is divided with per cubic meters, so per cubic meters it is divided by 10, so it comes to be 879.5 cement concrete. Yes, so there may be 1000 also problems on uh, floor, conglomerate floor, that is 4 centimeters thick of cement concrete 1 to 4 over 10 thick cement concrete 1 to 6 to 18 over 10 centimeters sand filling. Okay. So again, these things we will calculate one by one. First, we will have the calculations of materials for 10 square meters. So wet area, we have to have this. How much is the thickness for this? It is nothing but 10 square meters. Okay. Calculations of material for 10 square meters. The wet mortar for cement mortar, the ratio is 1 to 4. Here the ratio is 1 to 4. Okay, cement mortars. So for 10 square meters, what is the thickness for this? Over 10 centimeters thick. Okay, the thickness we have taken as 10 centimeters thick. And what about the floor thickness? Floor thickness for 4 thick cement mortars. Okay. The here thickness we have taken as 4. Here it has been taken as 4. So first we will calculate and find out the cubic meters. Okay. So 10 square meters multiplied by here after conversions into meters, square meters, centimeters into meters. So it comes to be zero point 0.4. That is in cubic meters. Simple calculations. That is in cubic meters. What about the dry mortar in this case? So dry mortar in this case is nothing but, sorry, there is some problem. Okay. Dry mortar is nothing but a point of 0.40. Again, its percentage because extra amount will be required after its, what is that extra amount? 1.54. We have considered 50% extra, though it comes to be 1.54. So after calculations, after additions, it comes to be 0.616 plus 0.62 cubic meters. What about the ratio for this? 1 to 4 is the ratio. Just we have added this, it comes to be 7, and 0.62 is the quantity of 1 multiplied. How much is the ratio for this? 1 multiplied by its ratio, that is, it comes to be 0.62, and multiplied by its per bag. So how many bags of cement per cubic meter required? 28.8. So here it is 0.62. Sorry. Okay. So zero point 0.4 multiplied by 1.54. Zero point 0.4 multiplied by 0.4 multiplied by 1.54. So yes, 0.616, or it comes to be 2. Okay, 0.62. We have directly taken as 0.62, but actually it is point 616. So we have considered this as 0.62. Okay. So directly we have taken as 0.62. How many bags of cement will be required? 28.8. Conversion this in into meter cube. So it comes to be 2.55 bags. Okay. What about sand? Sand is again 2, is nothing but 2 parts of sand is required. So here 2 multiplied by its offset, that is 0.62. So divided by total parts, here in this case after addition total parts we have to consider this as 7. So sand we require as 0.18. Next is aggregate, crushed aggregates. So how many parts of crushed aggregate? 1, 2, 4. 4 part is nothing but for crushed aggregate. Again, after calculations in cubic meters, it comes to be 0.62. 4 multiplied by 0.62 divided by total parts 7. So it comes to be 0.36 cubic meters. Again, wet mortar for cement concrete 168. Okay. So 10 square meters multiplied by, again, how many thickness is there? So 10 centimeters. So 10 divided by, it comes to be 1, simple divisions is there, it comes to be 1 cubic meters. Again, dry volume in this case, dry mortar in this case is nothing but 1 multiplied by, here again by adding, taking 50% extra, the amount it comes to be 1.54. Okay. So 1.54, the total amount it comes to be 1.54 cubic meters, and the ratio in this case we have taken as 1:6:18. Okay. In some cases we can take as 148 also, 124 also. Here we have taken as 1:6:18. The total parts in this case after adding 116, it comes to be 25. Okay. What about the cement bags? So here 1 multiplied by its total dry volume is nothing but 1.54, multiplied by, after converting this into cubic meters into bags, it comes to be 28.8, and the total parts here is 25. So divided by 25. So how many bags of cement is required? So 1.78 bags of cement is required. Okay. What about the sand required in this case? So 6 parts of sand. Okay, 1, 6, 18. So 1, 6, 6 is nothing but sand. So 6 is again multiplied by its volume. That is, after 50% extra, volumes comes to be 1.54 cubic meters. Total parts is 25. So it is just simple multiplication and division is there. So it comes to be 0.37 cubic meters. Same way for brick ballast is there. Same way the concept is for brick ballast is there. How much is the total here? 18 is percentage here. Okay. So 18 is the total. 160, 1618, 18 parts of brick ballast we have to take. Okay. So 18 parts. So 18 multiplied by how much volume we have calculated, 50% extra for total volume. So 1.54, it has been calculated as 1.54, divided by the total. Here total is 25. Sorry, 25. So little bit. Yes, 25. So 25 is nothing but the total parts. So 18 multiplied by its volume 1.54 divided by total parts, after addition it comes to be 25. So simple division multiplication is there. It comes to be 1.11 cubic meters. Okay. Again, again lastly for the sand. Okay, because here in this case three things, in previous problems three things it has been considered. Okay. The third thing is in this case we have considered as the sand for 10 cubic meters. So how much sand required for 10 cubic meters? So 10 square meters area is, area we have considered 10 square meters. What about the volume? Because we are calculating in volume. Okay. So multiplied by the depth. thickness or depth. To 10 centimeters, so 10 divided by 10, that comes to be 10 cubic meter, 1 cubic meters. Total dry motors for 10 square or conglomerate flooring with different ratios. Okay? So with the different ratios we have calculated. So cement in this case is 2.5 55 plus 1.78. Sand in the different cases is 0.18, 0.37 and 1. Whereas crushed sand we have considered this as 0.46. Okay? 0.46 calculations. Again, materials at site for 10 square meters. Again, cement required already taken as 4.33 after previous we have seen, multiplied by the cost of cement bag. So it comes to be 1515.50. What about sand required is 1.55 multiplied by its per cubic meter rate, that is 1000. It comes to be 1550. Crusher 0.36 multiplied by its rates 1400, it comes to be 504. Again, brick ballast 1.11 and multiplied by its rate, that is 900, it comes to be 999. So just we have multiplied with rates. What are the cost of materials for 10 cubic meters? The total cost comes to be 4568.50. Labors required for this in case 10 cubic square meters. Mason required in this case is 2 after calculations. The rate for this is nothing but 550. Just it is the multiplication for this. Mazdoor required is 3 multiplied by 350. It comes to be 1050. Misti in this case required is 1. In some cases we have taken as 250, but here in this case we have taken as 300. Okay. 1 multiplied by 300, it comes to be directly as 300. What about tools and plants required? So in this case, tools and plants required, it is nothing but 3% on the total cost on labors. Okay, so it comes to be 74. What are the cost of labors for the 10 cubic meters? After all additions, it comes to be 25, 25, 24. Okay, the cost of materials and labors, both additions, cost of materials and labors for this total additions, it comes to be 45. That is materials and labors 4568. It has been multiplied added with this, it comes to be 7092. Okay, 7092 is nothing but the 4568. Yes, 4568 is nothing but the cost of materials. 4568 plus 4568 plus 2524. So 4568 plus 2545. So here 4568 plus 2524. So yes, 7092. So these labors required, and these are the materials required. Sorry, only materials. Only materials. Okay. The material required rates in this case is nothing but 45. Yes, 4568. So this addition, it comes to be 7092. That is nothing but the grand total cost. So here we can have as grand total cost. Okay, so the grand total cost by including cost of labors and labors as well as in materials, the total cost or grand total cost, it comes to be 7092. 7092. Again, 10% extra amount will be required. Sorry, this is only the total cost of labors. The grand total we will see in next slide, because 10% extra cost will be required. Okay. So add 10% on contractors profit. So after adding this 10%, it comes to be 709.20. So grand total cost of it comes to be 7801. Okay. 10% extra will be required for contractors profit from addition of materials and labors. After adding, it comes to be 709.20. So here grand total cost for 70920 and the remaining that is 45 or 2, that comes to be 7801. So it comes to be, if after adding this plus 709, yes, 7801. So here it has been calculated in 10 square meters. So here we have calculated in 10 square meters. What about the cost per square meters? The cost per square meter, just we are dividing this with 10. So it comes to be 780 or 782 or 81. So one and the same. Or directly we can take this 800 also. Okay. Say 800 also. Okay. We can assume 800 also. Okay. So we can have the cost as in rupees as 800 also. So directly we can take this as 800 also. So 800. In this way we have calculated the different items of works. Beyond this there may be more items of works also, okay. So just we have seen the different examples related with how to find out the quantity of labors required, how to find out the quantity of materials required, and how to calculate the various things related with the various quantities, okay. We have seen the various quantities required for written message, okay. The materials required, labors required, and just we have calculated the percentage also, the quantities also in cubic meters, cement required in bags. We have seen also, we have seen sand and aggregates required in cubic meters, just multiplied with the current market rates. We have multiplied with the current market rates. So in this way, we have seen the examples related with the rate analysis. We have seen the examples related with the rate analysis. Okay? So again, we will have some a little bit faster concept. We will have fastly. We will see the concept of tendering also. Okay? We will see the concept of tendering also. Yes. So we will have the concept of tendering also. So we will see the concept of tendering. Before that, we have seen the concept of this. We will have, yes, tenders. So firstly, we will have the concept of rate analysis. Also, we have to see tenders and contracts also. We will see in tenders also, and remaining some part of tenders we will see in next lectures. Okay, in next lecture we will cover some parts of the tenders also. But in today, after rate analysis, we will discuss about the tenders. Okay. So what is tenders? It is an invitations. If we have to carry out a particular type of work with some other external body, okay, some other external agency, we have to give the work to some external agency which is expert in doing that work. So what are the norms, or how to deal with the work, how to carry out the work. So tendering is the best process in order to carry out the works. Okay? So tendering is the best process in order to carry out the work with the external body. Okay? With the external agency, we can carry out the work. What is tender? So it is an invitation from the owner to the contractors. The invitation from the owner to the contractors. We are inviting the export contractor in order to execute the particular type of work. Okay? So it is nothing but an invitation from the owner to the contractor to execute some work at a specified cost in specific time. Okay? These two things are important, at a specific cost and the specific time. Okay? So we are intending to do a work. We are giving the work to some external contractors. But what is the main thing? That is, it is to with a specific cost. It is to be fixed and specific time. That means that work to be completed in particular time, and the amount will be given to execute this work will be given by the agency, by the owner will be specific. Okay? So such dealings is carried out in tenders. Okay? So it is an invitation from the owner to the contractor to execute some work at a specified time, cost and a specific time. Okay? So it is published in the form of tender notice in newspapers or notice boards or various newspapers also, or in notice boards. We have to publish so that interested persons or the experts, contractors, should take the advantage for execution of work or construction of work, so that they can take the advantage for this. Okay? According to the cost of works. So here it has been displayed on newspapers, or it has been displayed on the notice board. It is an offer in writing to execute some specific work, or to supply some specified works, or to supply some specified articles subject to certain terms and conditions like rates, time limit, etc. between the contractor and the department or the owner party. Okay? So there is a dealing between a contractor and the owner. Okay? The mutual understanding is there, mutual dealings are there between the two parties. That is nothing but the contractor. One side there is owner, and other side there is a contractors. Okay? But in the specified written form. Okay? So it is offer in a written writing. Okay? In a written. Okay? So writing to execute some specified work, or to supply some specified works or equipments, or to supply some specified articles subject to certain terms and conditions. So after fulfilling the terms and conditions, after deciding the rates, after deciding the time limit, the dealings between the owner and the contractor will be carried out. Okay, or a simple way, this dealing may be done in private sectors also, between the owner and between the owner or the firm and the contractors. Okay, this is nothing but the tenders. What is the classification of tenders? Here, classification of tenders is nothing but the open tender and limited tenders. What is open tender? So it is invitations of tenders by open advertisement through the Indian trade journals or through the principal newspapers in India or abroad, up to 10,000 or over. Okay? So it is invitations. It is open to all. Okay? It is the advertisement. It is open to all the interested contractors can apply for this. So it is open to all. Okay? The invitations. It is invitation of a tender by open advertisement through Indian trade journals. Okay? So Indian trade journals. There may be advertisement given in the journals or in the newspapers, local newspapers or abroad also. Okay. What about the limited tenders? This is indirect invitations only to a selected ones of contract in limited. Okay? Only the ones which we are willing to do or which are experts in willing to do. So we are limiting. It is not open to all. Okay? It is limited to limited contractors, selected contractors. Okay? So limited tenders is nothing but this is an indirect invitation only to the selected ones of contracts to quote rates for a supply of articles or for construction or for maintenance for any type of work. Only selected numbers of contractors are invited to quote rates. Okay? So this is ordinary adopted in case of all orders, the estimated value of which is less than 10,000. It is estimated value for this is nothing but 10,000, below 10,000. Okay? So it is nothing but the limited tender. Next, again classifications for this limited tender. Next classification for fourth type of tender is nothing but the numbers a little bit changes there. Next number is nothing but the single tender. Invitations is given to only one firm, single tenders. Okay? The invitation is given to only one firm to render a service by quoting the rates. If the quoted rates are high, it is to be negotiated and to the agree of the contract. So that means we are inviting a single member. Okay? So we are fixing the member only it has been given to a single opportunity of the particular type of work. It has been given to the single member. Okay? So single invitations are invited, single quotes are invited, single quotation it has been invited from our contractors, and with proper negotiation it has been finalized. The agreement it has been done between the owner and the contractor, and it has been finalized. So only one single tendering or single person it has been given, which is expert in its field. Okay, so invitation is given to only one firm, single. Okay, one firm to render a service by quoting the rates. If the quoted rates are high, it is well to negotiate it to the agreement of the contracts. Okay, rate contract, again rate contract is nothing but depending upon the rates. Okay, rate contract usually adopted for supply of materials, machine tools and plants. So here rate contract or rate tendering it has been done usually for machines, for materials, for various tools and plants. It specifies the supply at a fixed rate during the period of contract. Suppose the for execution for 10 years or for 5 years or for 6 months, we are giving machineries. We are supplying machineries. We are supplying labors. Sorry, materials. We are supplying tools and plants for a specific period, and we are deciding the amount. Okay? Such is nothing but the rate contract. It specifies the supply at a fixed rate during the period of contract. The quantities are not mentioned in the type of contract, and the contract is bound to accept any order which would be placed before him. Okay, so here only the quantity it has been not mentioned. Here for particular type of work, how much material will be required, all the materials will be supplied. Okay, how much tools and necessary tools and plants will be required, it will be supplied. So here quantities will not be mentioned. Okay, here in this rate contract quantities will not be mentioned. Okay, so here quantities word will not be taken care. Okay, the quantities are not mentioned in type of contract, and the contract is bound to accept any order which would be placed before him. Next is nothing but the tender form. So in next lectures or next we will see tenders also, specifications also, and we will solve some numericals related with this also. Today we will end these lectures. We have discussed the rate analysis, we have discussed the numericals related with the rate analysis, and also we have started tendering, because some part of tendering will also it has been covered. Okay, thank you.